My founder say a very interesting line that he hires clones. He hires people. He can, see himself in those people. Hey guys, hello and welcome to another episode of What the F is Founders Office. It's been a while. We haven't really got a chance to record some new episodes, and personally, I'm really sorry for not being able to find some time. Thanks to everyone who's reached out in the last couple of months, asking for more episodes, asking for more insights, because this Founders Office role has just exploded in 2025. Every other company is practically hiring for a Founders Office role, and because there have been so many messages, comments, that I felt that I definitely owe it to you guys to record another session. And in today's episode, we've got a very interesting guest with us. Aman has been working in the Founders Office, and in the Founders Office intern, he's worked at a couple of AI companies, recent graduate, and it's very inspiring, and it's very motivating for all of us to see how Aman has been able to go about finding Founders Office intern positions and what is it that's expected from an intern in one of these roles. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Aman, who will introduce himself, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks a lot, Aman.
So thanks, Rajat, for having me here. It's really exciting to actually join you here in this episode from watching you multiple times and all of your videos. So it's actually a kind of achievement for me to be here. So for me, a short intro is Aman. I'm Aman. I'm a 2025 DTU grad, Delhi Technological University. So I graduated in August and did 2 months of intern at a startup called Google Junction, which is actually a platform to list AI companies, AI tools. They work on observability of companies, basically to get your company out there. It's like you can have our badge that you are listed on ToolJunction.io, and then it was for 2 months. Then I switched to a startup, Agnost AI. Recently working there from the start of this month, November, and it's been a month. So Agnost AI is a company that works on analyzing the metrics, how your agents work behind the scenes, how your MCP servers work. They basically analyze all the metrics like sentimental analysis, how are your users getting frustrated by using the agent, conversational agent, especially when you type something, or let's say AI gives the wrong response and then user says no, this is not the right response, you gave the wrong response. So that is a pain point for your conversational agent. And then for the case of MCP server, let's say you tried to book a cab from Claude and using the Uber MCP server. So when the MCP server failed to locate your current location, that is kind of a pain point for the user. So Agnost AI does capturing or making these charts or visibility to the MCP server companies. So where are these points that your users are getting frustrated basically? So it's a startup. It's currently at a very young stage. We recently raised our pre-seed. It's super early. So I'm enjoying here. And for the past interns that I did in summer, first one was Project Internet in Indraprastha Gas Limited. Second one is at another startup called VStay. It's a student accommodation startup situated in B2, works on housing of PG and other housing for DU students. And other one was our own startup during college, started as a side project called Free Sources, but end up being a startup for for college students. Basically, they can list that in their resume. Free sources was a platform for student to learn, to help them learn for their exams, prepare for their exams. We started as an idea to just gather all the PDFs of question papers, but ended up being building a website for students, for all the engineering students across India, uh, to get resources, to get notes, to get solved question papers. We connected with 4 colleges across Delhi: DETU, IGDTU, NSUT, Triple IT Delhi. So, like, you have all the stuff related to your engineering subjects uploaded on that website. If you are an engineering student, you can even check that out. It's freesources.tech. So, yeah, that's pretty much about me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Aman, for sharing that. And first of all, uh, it's heartwarming to see that you've been watching our podcast over the last few months, and you know, it's a full circle of life that now you get to be a part of this uh, podcast. And to be honest, that's the beauty of it, because um, we really want to build a community of everyone who's working in the founder's office roles, chief of staff roles, and so that everyone can benefit from it. Just like, you build that website where you uploaded those question papers, and everyone, got to benefit from it. So that's the whole idea behind even running this podcast. Um, on the note of, you are currently working at Agnost AI, and you also worked at another AI startup before. Just walk us through, what does a founder's office intern do on a day-to-day basis? Just walk us through your day. What all kind of tasks do you work on? Who all do you collaborate with? How hectic, or how, what's the work-life balance that people often talk about?
Okay, so the responsibilities for a founder's office role solely depends on type of the company that you will end up into. So let's say, if for my case, that was a kind of, first one was listing company, Tool Junction. It was part of other company as well, Explainer, which is an edtech. So, like, I was working on Explainer and Tool Junction both, but highlighted into Tool Junction more. So, like, for the edtech part, you have to interact with mentors, you have to interact with community of the learners, you have to make, let's say, you have to plan how the next cohort will be for the next session, next master class, next course of the company. And for Tool Junction, you actually have to list the tools, find the new AI tools in the industry, and scratch the data about that, see what that do, and then upload it, publish it on the website, make the website more visible through medias like blogs, newsletters, social media posts. So this is the kind of the task. Basically, it's just the extension of what the founder is doing. If he's doing something and he's telling you to do that, then you have to help him. For me, so it depends on the kind of the startup or the kind of the company you are working with. And Agnost AI, being said, an AI B2B SaaS company, so it's a product based company. We have our product, and currently we are in very early stage. So, like, there are research going on for the next product as well. So founder is doing research for the next product, so I also have to get involved in the research, find some new AI tools or new AI conversational companies, and find their POCs, try to get a research session or research meet fixed with them, try to get something about those companies, what are the new companies, what are the, like, pain points of this industry, and actually have to study the subject as well. If we have a product related to MCP servers, then I have to study what does an MCP server does. So what do an MCP server does? So studies actually a big part for my intern because I'm not from a tech background and I have to study these concepts basically. So also being from a super early stage, we also have to focus on multiple things. So like be it, very interesting task is recently we have to think about a merchandise. We are taking part in a hackathon, like the designing for merch, the thinking of merch, then connecting with the vendors, negotiating with them to give us a fair price. So these kind of things I did in the last couple of days. So it's very interesting as well as hectic actually, because uh, you have to talk with vendors across India to give us a fair deal. That actually makes the deadline to uh, get those product delivered to us. Uh, like seeing the spectrum of the work, it's kind of uh, here like a super research based kind of thing to a super basic thing.
Yeah.
Like very broad spectrum of work that I have to do in this role, and uh, basically helping the founders is what we do in this role.
Um, yeah, thanks a lot, Aman, for sharing that. And to be honest, I've spoken with almost 100 plus founders office folks in my experience, and pretty much everyone has talked about the unstructured nature of this role and how that adaptability and flexibility has helped them thrive in this role. So thanks a lot for sharing that.
Yeah, so I also have a question. Like, you have came from Goldman Sachs that to Lucidity, basically to a structured role where every process is set it up, everything works in a structured way, more professional way, to a startup where everything is, you know, unstructured or uncertainty is there. You have a secure role or kind of secure thinking my thought of mine back there at Goldman Sachs. So like, what challenge you or challenge have you faced for this role in the first quarter of joining Lucidity, a founder's office role? What motivated you to join this role basically, and what what are the challenges you faced basically? Expected work versus the real work maybe.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Got it. And yeah, I mean, thanks for asking this, Aman. To be honest, I'll try and divide this question into two parts. First is why I had moved from Goldman Sachs to Lucidity and leaving all that, structured processes behind, and then coming to the chaos that comes with an early stage startup. To be honest, I felt, at any big organization, your impact that you can deliver is very limited, right? No matter how hard you are working, no matter, the kind of praises that you're getting from the management, from your, seniors, etc., you'll still be just a brick in the wall in the long term, right? Because there are so many more people like you in that organization that your individual contribution is very, very difficult to be seen in an organization as big as Goldman Sachs. So that was one major driving factor. And secondly, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur myself.
Okay.
Even back in college, I was, I'm not sure if you heard about this, a quant research firm called World Quant LLC. And
Okay.
I was the one who started that back in my college, right? So
Great.
in that entrepreneurial mindset, I, did something hackish. First, I learned it myself, and then I taught it to every one of my friends, used their login IDs, credentials, and, made a lot of money from that. So essentially, I always wanted to do something that can be, utilized by the public at large, and essentially, have my own startup one day. That was the thought process that I had back in college as well. So
Okay.
Goldman Sachs was something because I got an internship over there. So, and the brand name and everything makes sense. So I joined that. But I always knew that, joining an early stage startup, especially in a founder's office kind of a role, would be beneficial for me to have my own startup one day, right? So from there, and it was, I had to unlearn a lot of things. I had to, forget my structured ways of thinking. Back at Goldman, even if I have to, let's say, work on a particular deck that has to be presented to the client, the template is already laid out. I just have to crunch the numbers and put it into the presentation. At Lucidity, there was no deck that when I joined, right? I mean, I'm just talking about one presentation that you have to present to the investors, to the clients, anyone. And there was no such presentation. And back in 2020, early 2022, when I joined, there was no chat GPT also. So here was the own nano banana, whatever, that you just give a command and the whole deck can be made. So you have to push yourself. Basically, I think everyone early in their career should be pushing themselves out of their comfort zone, because to complacent, then there is hardly any growth that you can. And if you're not growing, then you can make a decent salary, decent earning, but if you really want to stand out from the crowd, you consistently have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. And I mean, not coming from a sales background, I even had to do salesman. I mean, I was making,
Yeah, actually, me too.
right. So it doesn't matter, the kind of you, if you're coming from a finance background, engineering background, uh, you know, you have to just pick up the phone, talk to people, convince them, negotiate them, and you have to learn everything on the go, right? And you might fail a few times here and there. As long as your founders are understanding, as long as you have a supportive team around you, the journey becomes a lot more exciting than what it could have been back at an organization like Goldman Sachs. So that was my motivation. That was, my learnings in the first quarter, how I went about it. But then again, as you develop that rapport with your founders, once they start noticing your efforts, I think the journey becomes a lot more interesting and pleasurable in the long run.
Well summarized. We always talk about learning some things for the founders of his role, but you have listed out things to unlearn this time, which is actually a very, very nice thing. Actually, you have to do, and also your motivated and well thought uh, thought process of changing from Goldman Sachs to Lucidity might be seen as risk in some people's POV.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Even my own parents even my own parents were shocked when I told them that I have left my job at Goldman, and they were also thinking, why is he taking such a big risk with his career?
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, if I totally believe that it has to, life operates on risk reward ratio. If you don't, not taking a risk is the biggest risk in itself, right? So
yeah.
one has to.
So, like, obviously, in your perspective, risk is something to be named as well structured, well thought, given step according to you. Also considering your own self growth in the perspective, overall view, higher perspective actually. So that's amazing. So I actually implement this in my planning too. Thanks for sharing this.
Awesome. Right. I mean, you summarize it quite well, Aman. And I think you mentioned one sentence, which was, it's an extension of whatever the founder was, going to do. And that
Yeah.
absolutely sums it up, what a founder's office guy typically do on a day-to-day basis. The founder has hundreds of things spread across his plate. Be it researching what next product feature to be built, or be it actually, speaking with the vendors, getting those merchandise for the hackathon. And to be honest, someone who handles this kind of, diversity very well would thrive in this role. So uh,
Yeah.
it's good to see that, despite, a founder trusts the intern so much as well that they are giving him all sorts of autonomy to be able to work on such massive projects as well. Um, Help us understand, Aman, because and we were just discussing before before our podcast as well that uh, hiring for a founder's office role is very, very unstructured, right? There is no
Yeah.
defined process to it. So for our viewers, could you walk us through the process that was followed at both your internships? Did you apply on their website, on their job portal, on LinkedIn? Just end-to-end process that would be very helpful.
Okay, so starting with the first founders office intern. So it was not a listing for founders office intern.
Mhm.
It was listed as a community manager. There were 2-3 posts actually. Community manager, PD, operations, kind of those. There were 2-3 roles actually listed by the director of the company. So like I ended up emailing the director saying, hey, I'm good at all these kind of things. Basically, I can contribute a little in every role that you have mentioned, and basically looking forward to have a chat. So like I ended up getting a reply from the founder itself. Hey, I'm interested in your profile, so let's proceed. And they were so busy actually. Like the one thing I have to deal with is coping with the timings of the founders to be actually interviewed. So like sometimes I'm getting there were 3 interviews for the first intern. So like one interview was 11 p.m, other one was 8:30 p.m actually. Like if they are replying and I'm not available, then I may end up missing that opportunity. It's that kind of thing. So like founder also mentioned this thing that you are coping with me in a pretty good way. So you are replying well. So these kind of things. Reach out is something that you have to do in these kind of roles actually. And then during interview, I said I could work as a founder's office intern. So he said I'm completely fine. I understand. So let's just merge all of these roles and make up a founder's office role. Like that's how I ended up getting the first intern. And the second intern was very, very in a different magical way. I don't know how that ended up happening. So like this opening was for founder's office full time. A much before. Yeah, so like when I was working at this founder's office, I applied for this a month ago and I submitted the assignment. There was an assignment for founder's office. I did what I can in that assignment. It was a pretty diverse assignment, and looking back then, it was basically the stuff which I'm doing right now. It was all mentioned in that assignment. So like I have noticed this thing. Assignment is very much common in this kind of roles. I've submitted tens of assignment as of now. I was submitted the assignment, reviewed by the founder. They pointed out a mistake and challenged me, can you do it better? I said sure, I can do it better, and I submitted another version of that assignment. So like very few people actually submitted it second time, again redoing it. So like but they, because I was not that much experienced, they hired someone else back then. But don't know what was the reason, but they were not working with him. And as I was wrapping up this intern, I messaged the founders again saying, hey, I'm available, are you looking for an intern? So they said, yeah, we are open, and like you have submitted the assignment, there were some mistakes actually back there. So like can we reschedule an interview? So like an interview was scheduled to me through reaching out after 1 month. So like
Yep.
it's like combination of stars alignment or my reach out to the founder plus the situation of the company. So like all three things aligned, and I got this role. It's not like a process where I'm submitting an assignment and getting interviewed in a straight manner actually. So pretty interesting. I haven't seen any interview of mine scheduled in a structured way for this role.
Right, right, right. And I mean, that's my observation as well. I mean, having spoken to almost 100 folks working in founders office kind of roles, everyone has pretty much told me the same thing, that you have to, take that initiative, reach out
Yeah.
to the founder, or even reach out to, tens of people in that company, trying to convince them that you are a good fit for that role. And I think in your experience, the one thing that stood out for me was being available whenever the founder was, asking you for a round of interview. And because I think this is one of the expectations, that even after you've joined them full time, the founder's calendar is typically so hectic, so busy, that you have to sort of work around their availability at times. And having that sense of urgency, that even though it's 11 p.m. at night, you still went ahead and replied immediately, right? And that's the part and parcel of working in an early stage startup, because that's the risk that all of us are taking, that there's a risk and reward ratio involved. Because if you are one of the early employees of a startup that goes on and maybe lists on the NSE, then you are in for you'll be able to make a fortune out of it. So
Yes, actually well summarized.
yeah, right. So that's interesting. And to be honest, the part that you mentioned, where you had to redo the assignment, submit it again, actually that's something that even I do when I'm hiring for my founders office team. That sort of shows a person's adaptability, the ability to take feedback, because at startup there is no right or wrong answer, right?
Yeah.
I think everyone is figuring out on the go. And once a founder has given feedback, a lot of the times, if someone is super senior, or if someone is, has a lot of ego involved, they'll not be able to take feedback very well. They'll be like, I have done my job, why do I need to rework it again and again? But being a part of an early stage startup means that you have to collaborate, you have to listen to others as well, work on whatever feedback that you're getting, and then, try and come up with a solution that's beneficial for the business.
Yeah.
So I think, your experiences align with that, and very happy to see that, you were able to.
So it was like they said, I actually messaged them. I'll take that as an feedback. Thanks for your reply. That to the mistake that you have pointed out. It's basically I don't know that thing in the assignment,
Mm.
and I clearly mentioned in the assignment, hey, I can do Chat GPT for this question. Can submit a perfect answer to this, but basically I don't know about this very much. So I mentioned that. So he said, like the honesty, uh, like your honesty. And if I'll give you another 2 hours, can you just learn whatever you could from the internet and redo the assignment as a challenge? So I said, yeah, why not? I was not expecting a second chance to be uh, honest, but uh, yeah. So I submitted the assignment, and it's not perfect, but something that I actually learned and redid the assignment, and it's fine for the second time actually.
There. And actually, that brings me to my next question as well. And uh, I think you already touched upon it a little bit. That's what, in your opinion, does a founder typically look for when they're, hiring for such a role for a founder's office? Intern role, full-time role. Yeah. And what's your experience been like?
Yeah, so first thing is to have an ability to align with them. In my case, if they are available at 11 p.m., if they are available at 4 p.m., then I am ready to be interviewed at that time. Actually, if you are buzzing them and poking to them to match their schedule according to you. So like it's kind of a pain for them to get you interviewed actually. So you have to align with them their timings works. Actually they have quoted they have said that your interview is scheduled for 4:30 p.m. but it ended up happening in the evening at 6-7. So like I have to be the one that have to ask for updates ki, hey, is this meeting rescheduled, or hey, I am ready for the next time, can you please reschedule. So they won't be the one to message you like from their end. So you have to be proactive in reaching out to them, proactive in messaging them. So they look for this ability to be available and to be proactive, to be taking the updates of all the meetings and all. And the other thing they look for is curiosity, that how much curious you are to if something to learn something if you don't know it. Other thing they look for is, I think, diversity of the work that you did back then during college, and if you can explain that in pretty much way that is aligned to the assignment, let's say, or the industry, then that is something stood out too. And other thing is they look for how the extra thing you are providing with the assignment, and how clearly you are not noticing the things. How have you gone through their website, have you looked up for the resources and the things that they have mentioned there. So I noticed one thing written in the responsibilities of founders office is working on GTM strategies.
Yes.
So that clicked my mind, and during college and even when applying for multiple companies, I made couple of GTM strategies for the as a part of the assignment of those companies. So I ended up saying to the founder of Agnos AI, hey, I know this was not part of the assignment, but I made these two go-to-market strategies. They are B2B SaaS companies. Uh, Maybe this can help you to get an idea. Maybe it's a well-researched document actually. So like I'm providing you these documents regardless of the result. I am happy to share these PDFs with you. They are just sitting in my storage. So like this is something that is different from one typical approach, just sending the assignment.
Right.
Yeah, so like I noticed the points here and there, some keywords. So, and yeah, I think proactively replying to them is something that stood out to me.
Yeah, right. I mean, that pretty much that I also look for, to be honest, it's just a reflection of the founder themselves that they're looking for. My founder say a very interesting line that he hires clones. He hires people he can, see himself in those people. So you, despite applying for just, a founder's office intern role, you went above and beyond to, to suggest them strategies on their GTM path. That kind of shows the ownership that you will bring along when you are hired for the full-time role, right? And that's exactly something that any founder, any senior director of a company would be looking for when they're hiring for their team. That can this person, first of all, is this person flexible? Are they adaptable, right?
Yeah.
Are they willing to learn? Do they have the curiosity to, go out of their comfort zone? Learn
Go extra mile.
go the extra mile. Absolutely. Right. And then having that ownership mindset that it doesn't matter what time of the day it is, if it's something that the company has decided, something that the team has decided, it has to be done no matter what. And that's exactly what, you also brought to the table at Agnost AI. So fantastic to see that. Aman, before we wrap up, just as a word of advice for anyone who is looking to prepare or apply for the founder's office intern role. Imagine someone who is in their third year, fourth year of college, who's about to graduate. Any word of advice? How should they prepare their resume? How should they stand out from the crowd? What will you suggest?
Okay, so for someone who's in college, I would recommend you joining a society or a club, basically uh, that exposes you to multiple teams, multiple set of tasks, organizing fests, organizing events, getting arranging sponsors for the fest is kind of a good part actually to improve your reach out skill and to work in also to get some experience to work in multiple companies even as a side project, or even let's say may it be an unpaid intern for just part-time intern, not the full-time, where you can just spend couple of hours daily to get their work done, basically to get some experience at least in different kind of skill, different kind of roles actually. One could be an operations, one could be one could be working on reaching out. It can improve your communication and negotiation. One could be uh one could be to actually, if the startup is something that operates in offline sector, so that could be arranging events, managing all the tasks related to fest, planning the fest, organizing the fest is kind of the thing that you could prepare on. And for the resume part, I mean, just keep it simple, keep it short. Don't like you don't have to like completely mention the stories. You have to show your diversity, in my opinion, that you are pretty diverse.
Yeah.
And actually handle multiple kind of things. See, and also watch your videos. They were awesome to get an understanding of how this role works. Uh,
Mm.
and other thing is, don't like don't look this role as to show the world that you have it, rather than look it as I want to have it. It's a big role. You have mentioned so many things about it. It's booming. So like, don't think of it as I want the world to see it, that hey, look, I have this cool role. Actually view it as if actually you actually want to have it or not. It could be a pretty uncertain role at an early stage startup, or it could be a very stable or very good role at a big company or a high growth startup actually. So depends on the startup and depends on the risk that you can actually take. So like, prepare yourself for the kind of instability comes with this role as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, just I mean, be curious, look out for the opportunities wherever you can find, even as a side project actually. And in your free time, do some kind of case studies, do some kind of quizzes, do some kind of research work. Let's say you can take a topic on weekend. uh, what are the AI companies that are booming and that are raise funds? You can just prepare a list of those companies. Don't chat GPT or don't use AI. Like, go through manual search and see what are the companies raising funds, so you can like search from product hunt, or you can search from traction. So yeah,
Right.
and learn some organizing tools basically. Like Notion is something that stood out to me in both of these roles, to maintain databases
Mm.
and the docs. And also see, I'm working at an early stage startup, so like processes are not does not exist there. So like, you have to actually set up the process. Even let's say marketing process, what will be the schedule of the posts, what will be the schedule of the founders LinkedIn posts, companies page. So like there should be a process. So like work on learning how these processes works actually. So how to initiate a task and how to finish a task. This is something you can develop, and pretty much these kind of things that I've did and it worked.
Got it. So, and very well said, Aman. I mean, if I were, if I imagine myself back as a third year, fourth year college student, then that's exactly something that I would be doing as well, being a part of multiple societies. Because if you're looking to crack a founder's office role, it's a very generalist role. They look for diversity. They look for a person who can handle 10 different tasks at once. And having those multiple, different kinds of activities, different kinds of, spikes in your resume, really goes on to show that you will be able to handle it during your, if you're given that opportunity at an organization.
Yeah.
Right? So, perfect. I think, this has been fantastic, Aman. I really appreciate your time today. I know it's Sunday. I know you've mentioned that it was a working weekend for you. So, thanks a lot for your time. I know this will be extremely helpful to anyone who's preparing for the founder's office kind of roles. To the audience, I will leave down Aman's LinkedIn down below. If you want to have a chat with him, I'll leave his LinkedIn down below. But that's all for today's episode. Fantastic speaking with you, Aman. Once again, thanks a lot, and all the very best for your internship. We'll stay.
Yes. Thanks for having me. It's great to have words with you. Very exciting, and would love to come here again if again someday stars align. And thanks for the audience to stick with us, and all the best for all the interns, all the students preparing. Would love to connect with you on LinkedIn, over LinkedIn. Yeah, thanks again. Bye.
Awesome.